Hey, Mahal everyone. Welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host 40, and we are back with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we have another underappreciated, this time featuring Final Fantasy VIII's melee punch kick specialist, Zell. This is actually a highly requested video from my Discord, so thank you to you guys in my Discord for suggesting this video. It's been a long time coming for me to release this one because I was working on building up my Zell. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to build him up enough to showcase him in the gameplay that you will see after this for this underappreciated video. However, I did have a good friend of mine who is known by Rem. If you guys don't know who Rem is the owner of the Dissidia DB website. He let me borrow his Zell, so you guys will still get to see some cool showcase of what Zell gets in the future. But first, let's take a look at why Zell is underappreciated in the global version of the game. So, taking a look at Zell, we know he's a melee DPS unit with the lightning element attached to one of his abilities. His speed tier is fast. Taking a look at his statistics at level 50-50, he has great HP. His initial brave is unfortunately a little bit on the low side. Both his max brave and attack are decent, and his defense is also on the low side. He has two abilities, his two base abilities, one being Punch Rush. So Punch Rush is a 4-hit melee brave attack. This grants Zell the dual unique buff for 3 turns, which changes his Punch Rush into Burning Rave. The damage modifier on this is 20% for each of the first 3 hits, followed by the 4th hit being at 60% for a grand total of 120%, with a max usage of 6. His ability 2 is called Booyah, so this is his lightning ability. It's a 1-hit lightning range brave attack. It grants Zell, again, the dual unique buff for 3 turns, which changes Booyah into Meteor Barrage. The damage modifier on this is 80%, with its max usage being at 6. Alrighty, so taking a look at his dual status ability. So his first one coming from his Punch Rush is Burning Rave. So Burning Rave raises his own Brave by 1.2. It also deals a 2-hit AoE range Brave plus single target HP attack. Okay, so it's going to deal AoE range brave attack first, and then afterwards it does an HP attack to the single target that you're targeting. However, it does deal a 10% splash damage based on 10% of the HP damage dealt to the non-targeted enemies. It does remove the dual unique buff, and the damage modifier on this is 10% for each of the 2 hits for a grand total of 20%. His second dual status ability, Meteor Barrage, coming from his Booyah ability, is a 1-hit melee brave plus HP attack, which removes the dual unique buff, and the damage modifier on that is at 80%. So what are the top 3 artifact passives that you should be farming up if you are building up Zell? The first one should definitely be attack plus 108. That way he could deal as much brave damage as possible. Max Brave plus 330 would be your next one, followed by Mighty Punch Rush 2-star, because Punch Rush is his multi-hit brave attack, so you definitely want to focus on increasing the damage output for that ability. Some honorable mentions are Self-Taught Martial Arts Boost. So Self-Taught Martial Arts Boost 2-star will help out his level 50 passive, where the brave damage dealt by his abilities is increased while he's under the dual status, and then Mighty Booyah 2-star. Now, what is the current equipment lineup that Zell currently has in Global? So right now in Global, we have his 5-star Maverick, which is his 15 CP weapon. This increases Punch Rush's overall damage modifier from 120% to 160%, so now the first 3 hits are dealing a total damage modifier of 25%, followed by the 4th hit dealing 85% for a grand total of 160%, and this time the dual unique buff is extended to 6 turns rather than 3 turns. He also has his 4-star Metal Knuckle, which gives him a little bit of boost to HP, his 5-star Zells Jacket, which increases his HP and attack, and then his 4-star Zells Jeans, which increases his defense. So, after we all know that, what are Zell's pros and cons in the global version of the game? So his pros, Zell is fast, and he is currently one of the only units in the global version of Dissidia Opera Omnia to be able to hit multiple enemies with an HP attack with his ability. So I'm referring to his Burning Rave because it has that 10% splash damage. Now, while he is a melee DPS unit, he also has a range attack in Booyah to give him options in the event if he's going up against an enemy that resists melee brave attacks. Now, what are Zell's cons in global? So while Zell does possess abilities that deal HP damage, he requires a setup to use, making his effectiveness compared to some of the more reliable DPS units in global, such as Lightning, Tidus, Squall, and Papalymo, a bit lacking, because those units have abilities where they deal brave damage and then right afterwards they already deal that HP damage, whereas Zell, he's kind of like Prish, where he has to set up, and then his damage modifiers and his abilities, even with his current gear lineup in global, it's pretty low. I mean, his Punch Rush only gets an overall boost to 160%. It's still kind of low if you think about it. And then while he is of the fast speed tier, none of his abilities have any sort of high turn rate or low action delay to take advantage of his setup. So what I mean is, like, think about Prish. So Prish sets up either with spinning attack or one Ilm punch, right? But then those abilities have some sort of like a low action delay, so then she gets to act almost immediately or maybe like 2 turns after, whereas Zell doesn't have that with any of his abilities, so he has to wait a little bit longer to actually set up and then use his HP attack. So he currently lacks that right now. Again, even though he's fast, he does lack that. Alright, so what could Zell be given to be better? So if both of his abilities were given either a high turn rate or low action delay, naturally, it would allow him to be more effective as a pure damage dealer, because that's what he is. He's a pure damage dealer, increasing the damage modifiers on both of his abilities, as well as his dual status abilities, would make him a bit more effective, because he does have pretty low damage modifiers on all of his abilities. His dual unique buff is great. However, right now all it does is it changes his abilities. So maybe they could give it some sort of a boost when he gets that, rather than just plainly changing his abilities. I mean, those are cool, but he doesn't get anything else outside of that. Now, what are some good teammates for Zell? So at this point in the global version of the game, any support unit that boosts attack would definitely benefit him greatly. Vincent and Kryle are also great options to complement Zell's lightning element with his second ability Booyah, because Vincent has that lightning imperil, and then Kryle has that buff where you deal more damage with a specific element. So those are 2 units that could definitely help Zell out. Alright, now time for the information you guys have been waiting for. What does Zell get in the future? This is going to be quite a long one. He gets a lot. So Zell will be receiving quality of life buffs to his base abilities, a level 60 awakening with crystal passives going all the way up to level 60, a 35 CP weapon, and an EX weapon. So yeah, Zell gets all of that, and we're going to go into detail now about all of that. So his punch rush gains +2 uses, now inflicts a small defense down debuff for 3 turns. It gives the dual unique buff now a 50% attack boost to Zell, so now it actually does boost one of his stats, and it also grants Zell a 40% max brave increase for 6 turns. So that's pretty huge for a DPS unit. His Booyah ability gains +4 uses, now inflicts a small defense down debuff for 3 turns. It gives the dual unique buff a 50% attack boost to Zell, and it grants Zell a 40% max brave increase for 6 turns. So the upgrades to that are similar to Punch Rush, but all in all, those are pretty amazing quality of life buffs. So he's also going to be getting his 5-star 35 CP weapon, which is called Gauntlet. So this is going to increase Booyah's max usage by +2. The damage output of both Booyah and Meteor Barrage are going to be increased. When you do use Booyah, the dual unique buff is extended, the potency of the defense down debuff that he inflicts is increased, and it grants Zell a physical attack up by 30% for 6 turns. So that is quite good. Again, definitely complementing him being a pure DPS unit. His 5-star EX weapon, which is called Ehergees or Eherguys, it equips the EX ability Different Beat to Zell, so he can now use his EX ability Different Beat. At 1 limit break, he gets a passive that raises the brave damage of his EX ability Different Beat. At 2 limit break, it raises the recast speed of EX ability Different Beat, so that way we can recast it a lot sooner. And then at 3 limit break, it changes his HP attack to HP attack plus while his dual unique buff is active. So this is just the first page, so let's take a look at what else he gets. So his crystal passive level 55 is called Punch Rush Extend. This lowers Punch Rush's action delay. It also triggers his ability to Booyah after Punch Rush is used if Zell's HP is 80% or above his max HP. So if his HP is around that threshold, he's gonna do Punch Rush, and then he follows up with his second ability Booyah for free, which is nuts. It increases the damage output of Burning Rave as well. It also increases the splash HP damage of Burning Rave, and it lowers Burning Rave's action delay. So wow, that is crazy. His crystal passive level 60 is called Booyah Extend, so this lowers Booyah's action delay. It triggers ability 1 Punch Rush after Booyah is used if Zell's HP is 80% or above his max HP. It also increases the damage output of Meteor Barrage, and it lowers Meteor Barrage's action delay. So very similar to Punch Rush Extend. At this time, he's following up with Punch Rush after he uses Booyah, provided that you have that HP threshold met. So he becomes a very, very effective Brave Shaver alone with these crystal passive upgrades. So his HP attack plus, as mentioned earlier, does require the 3 Limit Broken EX Weapon Eher Guys passive, as well as the dual unique buff. So this is a 3-hit Brave plus HP attack. Not bad. His EX ability is different beat, so again, this requires the weapon and a full EX gauge. This is going to be a 9-hit Brave plus HP attack. The Brave that Zell steals from the target can overflow up to 150% of Zell's max Brave, so that's pretty crazy. It also grants him the dual unique buff for 6 turns, and this time it changes his Brave attack to Burning Combo and his HP attack to Meteor Combo. So we're going to take a look at that now, which is going to be the final upgrades that Zell gets. So he does get a lot. It's pretty crazy how much they gave him. So Burning Combo. So this requires the EX Weapon Eher Guys and the usage of EX ability Different Beat. This is going to be a 4-hit melee Brave attack. It inflicts small defense down debuff for 3 turns. It also grants Zell a medium max Brave up for 6 turns, raises his own Brave twice. So the first raise is based on Zell's attack stat, and then the second one followed by that is by 1.2. It follows up right after that with a 2-hit range Brave plus HP attack, which deals 50% splash damage to other enemies, so wow. And then a low action delay is also given to this to Burning Combo. However, after using this, it does remove the dual unique buff and reverts Burning Combo back to Brave attack and Meteor Combo back to HP attack. And then his last ability that he gets is Meteor Combo. So again, this requires his EX weapon as well as using his EX ability Different Beat. This is going to be a 1-hit Brave attack. This inflicts small defense down debuff for 3 turns, just like Burning Combo. It grants Zell a medium max Brave up, and this time a small attack up for 6 turns. It also follows up afterwards with a 1-hit melee Brave plus HP attack with a low action delay, and this time again it also removes the dual unique buff and reverts Burning Combo back to Brave attack and Meteor Combo back to HP attack. So incredible. They definitely went to town with Zell's abilities. Now, how does he stack up currently in JP? Because JP, again, as I've been saying, is heavily dominated by strong support AoE units that also deal AoE damage, Zell is still not considered top tier. He's probably like mid-high tier. He's definitely great. He is crazy good now, but he's still not quite up at the top, but he's definitely a whole lot more fun to use. And again, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the video, I do have some footage for you guys from my JP version of the account, and kudos and thanks again to Rem for letting me borrow his Zell. You guys will see it in the video. I am going to be using his Zell because his Zell is built up all the way up to Crystal Passive level 60. That way you guys get to see a better picture of what Zell can actually do visually in Dissidia Opera Omnia. So let's go ahead and take a look at that video. Alrighty guys, so here we are with some gameplay from my JP account following that underappreciated discussion on our boy Zell. Now, my Zell unfortunately is not built up. I wasn't able to farm up enough tier 4 red crystals, or rather farm up, but acquire, even with the current events that are out. But luckily, my boy Rem, if you guys don't know who Rem is, he is the owner of Dissidia DB, the best Dissidia Opera Omnia website out there. He actually loaned me his Rem. What we did here is we started a co-op, and then I force closed, so then that way I can have full control of his Zell. So thank you so much to my boy Rem. Shoutouts to him, guys. He's a wonderful Dissidia Opera Omnia player, and he's very resourceful, very knowledgeable. He actually has a YouTube channel that I'm going to be leaving the link in the video description, as well as the pinned comments, so be sure to check him out, show him some love, subscribe to his content. He's definitely a really good Opera Omnia player. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at Zell's awakened abilities with his crystal passives level 55 and level 60. So I'm taking my Ramza here, but I don't want Ramza to steal the spotlight, so we're just going to go ahead and just use a standard Brave attack. So let's go ahead and take a look at his punch rush now. So here's his punch rush. And as you can see right there, what it does now is it triggers Booyah after Punch Rush if Zell's HP is above 80%. So essentially, both of his abilities trigger, both his ability 1 and ability 2, as long as you keep Zell's health up. So that's quite good. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at his HP attack, which is his Burning Rave. So there we go, there is his Burning Rave. Quite good, I have to say. Let's just go ahead and use Galvanize here with Ramza just to provide Zell with a little bit more buffs here. And then we're going to go ahead and just use Shout. And let's go ahead and take a look at... Oh, Ramza, stop stealing the spotlight. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at Booyah Extend now. And as you can see, now it triggers his Punch Rush, which is his ability 1, as long as his HP is above 80%. Now let's go ahead and take a look at his Meteor Barrage. So That is quite good. So now both of his abilities trigger as long as you keep his HP above that 80% threshold, which is very, very powerful. Okay, Ramza, we're gonna go ahead and just have you just sit in the sideline, just using your Brave attack, just providing that support. We want Zell here to take the spotlight. So let's go ahead and use his Punch Rush again. We're gonna try to build up his EX here, so then that way when we get to the actual boss, we can use his EX. Alrighty. Oh, yeah, I did forget he does have a Brave Attack Plus, so we're gonna go ahead and just use that here, just so you guys can see that. It's essentially just another strong Brave Attack. Ramza, you're not gonna do anything. Let's go ahead now and just do a regular HP attack. There we go. So Zell becomes quite a monster. He becomes a really good, I want to say a really good Brave Shaver because of his ability to be able to use both of his abilities after using another one. Both of his Brave abilities in a sense. And then remember, it grants him the dual status, so then that way we can get into his HP abilities. Let's go ahead and just attack here. That's fine. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use now his Meteor Barrage. Very, very good. And remember, his abilities do have splash AoE damage. We don't really get to see that here because we are fighting a singular enemy, but it does have that splash damage as well, which is pretty cool. Right, so here's the boss. So we're gonna open it up with Zell's EX ability. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and use Triple Break, which is Ramza's EX. You guys kind of get to see that here, just to get the debuff off. So then that way you don't have to prolong this battle on this poor dragon here. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at his burning combo here. So his EX right over here. So it has the overflow mechanic, where it overflows. That was pretty cool. So essentially, it overflows up to 150% of his maximum Brave. Actually, that was his different beat. Sorry, I called it Meteor Combo. It's his different beat. Different beat is his EX ability. All right, so we're going to take a look at his other HP ability there. Let's go ahead and use his Booyah. And it goes right into Punch Rush. So again, he's going to be an excellent Brave Shaver. As long as the enemy doesn't resist melee attacks, he's going to be really, really good for that. Ramza, we're going to save... I want our boy Zell to be able to finish him. Very, very cool. So he's definitely a character to look forward to in the future. How he is right now in the current meta for JP, if you guys want to know, he's great. He's definitely very usable. His EX helps him a lot. Slightly gear dependent, but he's definitely fun to use now, and he's definitely useful for various situations. So if you guys are a big fan of Zell, I know several people in my Discord who are, and several folks who have watched my Twitch streams, they really love Zell. He's going to be a very fun character to use. Definitely a pretty good future investment for those of you that are building him up currently in the global version of the game. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that video on the underappreciated for our boy Zell. Remember, if you want to get notifications for upcoming Dissidia Opera Omnia videos or even Star Ocean videos, be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to me on my YouTube channel. Again, don't forget to check out my boy Rem on his YouTube channel, and also show him some love on the Dissidia DB website. He works hard to put together all that information for us Dissidia Opera Omnia enthusiasts. That way we have information in our hands, to be able to, learn the game better and to understand the mechanics and things like that. Alright guys, once again, I am 40 the Broadway saying, stay tuned for my next video, and mahal everyone.